lot better at it than us. They're old, they're mature, they're a good football team. They made plays down the stretch that we didn't, and they just did not make any mistakes, and we obviously made too many of them.
Next up, Mark Berman, Fox 26. Mark?
Yeah, hey, Dana, along the lines of what you were just talking, you were up, I think, 12, and they scored the rest of the points. What flipped at that point beyond the mistakes, or was it just simply mistakes?
Oh, it's a combination of mistakes, and when the game gets tight, I mean, it's just good teams step up and make things happen, and we're still trying to figure some of that stuff out. We're gonna keep getting better. We did a lot of good things. It's just when the game got tight in the fourth quarter, I mean, that they whipped us. They elevated their game and we didn't. We had a hard time blocking them. We had a hard time tackling them, and they made plays and we had guys that didn't. So I give BYU a lot of credit. I'm not down on our football team right now. This was a bonus game. I mean, our goal is to win the conference and focus on the conference. This is not a conference opponent. We ironically had to deal with Big 12 refs, which is irritating as shit. We just didn't have what it took to be able to get things done down the stretch. They did. They're 5-0. They're 13th in the country. Like I said, they're a good football team. Coach Satake's a good dude and a good football coach, and those guys are a good football team. And we got a lot of work to do to be able to get to the point where we can say that about our team.
Next up, James Mueller, Daily Cougar. James.
Yes, Dana, despite offensive struggles in the fourth quarter, your team had a few 90-plus yard drives earlier in the game. Can you talk about just how what you saw from your offense tonight, and how you can build on some of those positives for the remainder of this season?
Yeah. How many penalties we had? Another 10. Yeah. They ended up evening things out and gave them some penalties too. Big 12 refs like to throw flags. Was happy our bad wasn't bad. That was a focus. We protected the football. I mean, that's 8 straight quarters where we haven't got a turnover. Kind of getting irritated with that, but we did a better job of protecting the ball and making sure the bad wasn't that bad. Had some good drives. Through 3 quarters, I believe we're at about 400 yards, and I doubt we got hardly any in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, we did do a good job of moving the ball. Thought Clayton played really well, made some really good throws. Protection just was atrocious in the fourth quarter, so he really didn't have a chance to do anything. That's your opponent elevating your game when the game's on the line, and that's us that we just didn't. So got to give BYU credit for being able to do that.
Next up, Andy Yanez from the Daily Cougar. Andy.
Yeah, Dana, you just mentioned those penalties. What would you attribute to so many flags? Do you still think it's kind of like the speed of the game, or do you attribute it to something else?
I don't know. We'll look at it. It's 2 weeks in a row is 10 penalties. We did that one time all last year, so I don't think it's anything that we're doing from a coaching staff perspective. I think it's just a combination of things. It seemed like we never got the call, but anyway, we got to ignore that and just focus on us and focus on the things that we can control, and that's our technique, and that's our poise. We did a couple of things from a couple of guys that was uncharacteristic. It's youth, it's being overpowered, a whole bunch of things. I mean, it's something that we will obviously look on and address and coach. I mean, I'm not undisciplined. Last year we did, whatever we did last year. I mean, we weren't an undisciplined football team. So we know how to coach it up, and we'll work hard on it. We'll get better.
Next question, Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle. JD.
Dana, the lane punt there. Did you see? Did it go off the side of his foot, or just the one that went 13? And how big was that in terms of field position? And obviously, that's the one they took the lead on.
Yeah, I would say that was. I mean, did he drop it wrong? I don't know. I mean, the dude's been punting in live action in America for 8 quarters now.
Right.
So, I mean, let's cut him some slack. I mean, I've seen that kid boom him, and he's going to continue to get better and better. after this year's over, he's still got 4 years of eligibility. I mean, the dude is incredibly talented. He's going to continue to get better and better. I mean, what exactly happened, I don't know. I mean, he'll work through it and he'll get better at it. I mean, that's a weapon that we have that we'll be able to utilize. I would cut him a little slack right now and
Gotcha.
let him work through some things.
The offensive line at halftime, Coach Sataki was talking about how they couldn't get any pressure back there on you guys. The second half, was it just a change, especially with Patrick Paul? Did he, he's a redshirt freshman. Was that just some undisciplined things with him on the unsportsmanlike, and then the other penalties he had?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into penalties again. I've already addressed it. I mean, we'll look at it and address it how we need to address it, whether it's with technique or whether it's with poise. I just think they played harder than us in the fourth quarter. I thought we protected really well in the first half. We had 350 yards at halftime. That's a pretty good offensive performance for 2 quarters. We're still – and then you get into the third quarter, we had a 99-yard touchdown drive. You don't do that without your O-line pass protecting and coming off the ball and sustaining blocks in the run game. I just think their game elevated in the fourth quarter, and they wanted to win more than us. I'm not down on our football team right now. We played good for 3. They played good, really good for 1.
Got time for one more. We're getting to Mark.
Dana, how much or how valuable can this tape be to get to where you want to get, since your goals are still obviously in front of you?
Exactly what I just told the team. I mean, this was kind of a bonus game that we wanted to win bad. I thought we played pretty good. I was happy with our preparation and our effort, and that we played with. There's a lot of things on this video that we're going to look at. I mean, you get into game 3, game 4, game 5, you kind of are who you are. So who BYU is a pretty damn good football team. We've got 2 games under our belt, and I'm not going to continue to keep making this as an excuse not to be successful, but we got to keep playing. We've only played 8 quarters, and we got a lot of stuff ahead of us, so not disappointed in our football team. I'm proud of them. They've done a good job up until this point. I think we will learn a lot from what happened. We'll continue to, work hard on our schemes and work hard on our technique and develop the attitude that we need to from a discipline perspective, to not do a bunch of stupid stuff that'll get us beat. Just did too much of it here today.
All right, everybody. We've got senior defensive lineman Peyton Turner up next. We'll take questions for Peyton if you'll just raise your right hand on the participant tool. We'll get started. Anything for Peyton? JD, you want to get started? All right, guys, we'll have tight end Christian Trahan back up. We will take questions for Christian when you guys are ready.
Hey, Christian, how you doing? Just wanted to – I'm sorry, I'm having trouble here. I just wanted to get with you guys just on what you thought was the difference there between how you guys took the lead at, right before halftime, and then what happened in the second half.
We just I feel we beat ourselves. We beat ourselves in the second half. We didn't finish. It's on us. We'll move on.
Up next, Andy Yanez from the Daily Cougar.
Yeah, Christian, what was it in that fourth quarter that kind of BYU did that kind of made the offense struggle, or was it more of internal issues? What would you attribute the struggles to in the fourth quarter?
We beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. That's all it is we beat ourselves.
How do you improve that going forward?
Just get better. Go back to work tomorrow. Get back in the lab and go to work. We'll be ready for Navy.
Anything else for Christian, guys? All right, good deal. We'll wrap up with Clayton in just a second. Quarterback Clayton Toon. We'll take questions for Clayton. If you guys will raise your hand on the chat side, and then we'll get started. We'll go to James Mueller from the Daily Cougar first. James.
Yeah. Hey, Clayton. This was like the second straight week. The offense really struggled to get going in the first quarter before picking things up. What do y'all have to do in the future to start off stronger instead of having to keep coming from behind?
Just come into the game with just an attack mindset from the jump. I feel like we're kind of dipping our toes in the water and, feeling it out first, not just jumping right into it. So I think we just need to have our mindset set on just attacking from the jump.
Next question, Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle, JD.
Clayton, can you guys put your finger on the penalty situation the first two games? I believe it's 20 through two games. I mean, is it just kind of working your way through the early part of the season, or is there something more you think to it?
I think there's a little bit of that, like you said, but there's just, discipline. Early, our season blunders and, we just need to work them out and practice and just really focus on being disciplined.
If I could follow up, Clayton, just you guys knew coming in that this would be a big challenge, but also a chance to get a big win early on under your belts. Is that make it a little bit tougher to swallow when you're up 12 in the second half and they closed the way they did?
Yeah, you never like to lose, but yeah. I mean, obviously it's tough. Any loss is tough. But we're focused on conference. That's a non-conference game. We would have loved to have that, but it's we're moving on. That's in the past, so we're moving on and we're on to conference.
Anything else for Clayton, guys?
Are you happy, Clayton? I mean, not win-loss, but just you personally looking at the way you really played for 3+ quarters, just with the passes and your timing stuff. Have you been happy with the way at least you've been throwing the ball and been able to move the offense?
Yeah. I mean, I think I credit that to the receivers and O-line. It's just we need to learn how to finish down the stretch, and it starts with me. I just need to trust the guys and trust that they're going to do their job. And, when it counts, just continue to do what we did in the first half and third quarter. So it starts with me.
Got one more from Andy Yanez from the Daily Cougar. Andy?
Yeah, Clayton. In the fourth quarter, it seemed like BYU was able to get a lot more pressure into the backfield. Did they change something up, or was that more of an internal struggle?
Yeah, they were starting to twist up front, which is something we hadn't seen on film. But they've played 5 games. That was their 5th game, and that was our 2nd game. So it's just, that's not something we had seen. So, we'll get back to the drawing board and get it fixed.
Anything else for Clayton, guys?
Clayton, on the offensive line, it looked like you guys, had to juggle some things around. Braylon's been a center before, so I don't think that was probably a big deal for you. But just some of that stuff that you guys had in and out, was that something you had to get used to, or was that pretty much, not much to that?
There wasn't much to it. I trust those guys, and I see the work that they've put in, and so I trust them that they're going to do their job just like they do me. So it wasn't too crazy.
At one point, Patrick came off the field during timeout, and he had his head down, and he was shaking his head about one of the penalties. Did you say anything to him after the game, or did you get a chance to just a young guy like that who's still working his way through learning on the job?
Yeah, just to keep his head up and to be smart and learn from it, because that's all you can do. He knows, but he's just such a fierce, competitive guy that sometimes he lets his emotions get the best of him. But that's an easy fix.
Thanks, Clayton.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. We'll send this out shortly.
Yeah. Thank y'all.